What is up, Sooner Nation? Happy early signing day. Welcome to the Sooner Surge, where we've got all the Sooner signing day content coming at you. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. You check us out on all the social media platforms. You hit the notification, you enable that, and you like and comment on the videos. Also, do us a favor and check out the fan stop at thefanstop.com. Great Christmas ideas. Look at thefanstop.com. Guys, early signing day has come and it's gone. And OU highlighted the class, obviously, with the big get and Michael Fasusi announcing and signing at the University of Oklahoma. Obviously, that was the big thing. But really, a slew of other guys that we're going to kind of talk about here today in this video. But the highlight is Michael Fasusi, 6'6", 295 tackle, highlighting this class, guys.
Yeah, they landed Fasusi. I think that was the one everybody was just waiting on, and it finally happened this afternoon. If you look at the class overall, I think it's not like you're going to sit here and say this is just an outstanding class when you look at it. Probably going to end up ranked 16th in the country, but that's probably going to end up 9th or 10th in the SEC. And nobody wants OU to be 9th or 10th in the SEC. Now, the positives to this class, the big positives, I think are O-line. I think it's Bill Bedenbaugh's best class he's ever had. I really do. With the bookend tackles of Foji and Fasusi, and then you got Hollenbeck dead smack in the middle at center. I think that's a great offensive line class for Bill Bedenbaugh, the best one he's had, I think. So that's great. I think and they needed that, guys. I mean, that's something we've talked about. You have to have that. Also, one of the reasons it was ranked a little lower, I think, is obviously you had the decommitments down the stretch and the flips, but also they only took, 18? I mean,
17 guys.
17 players. So it's a little different than years past where they'd taken 25 or 26 or something like that. So it's a little different. Just kind of highlighting some guys that I really like from this class. I absolutely love Elijah Thomas out of Chakota, wide receiver. I think he's a playmaker, big time athlete. I think he's going to be really good. And I think they continue to get guys that can play the back end on defense really well, and really excited about those guys as well. And then Blaylock. I think Blaylock's a good running back, guys. I think he is. He's probably somebody that OU I'm trying to think, but as far as a home run hitter, man, he is that guy that they kind of haven't really, have had. So that's just kind of my overall thoughts so far.
Yeah, this is a unique class, I think, because Jason, you said it, there's only 17 guys with now the roster limit getting shaved down to 105. Really no more walk-ons in a sense anymore. There's very few that you can have. So you talk about all these guys being, I think, very handpicked and selected, but Trent Wilson ended up being the only interior defensive lineman of the class. Lost Floyd Bucard and Kamori Moore. They both flipped to other schools. And Todd Bates being able to keep Trent Wilson was huge. He's a top 100 player in the country. Extremely, extremely athletic for his size. I don't want to use the comparison to David Stone because no one is David Stone when you watch high school film. But he's athletic and quick for his size, can rush the passer, extremely good. Maybe kind of like a Grayson Halton is a fair comparison, but he's already a little bit more built than what Grayson Halton was coming into college. And then you have, in my opinion, the most underrated player in this class, a wide receiver, one of the most underrated players in the country, and Emmanuel Choice. I don't know if you guys have watched this film. Extremely, extremely impressive. A playmaker, like you said, with Elijah Thomas with the ball in his hands. There's been some comparisons to CeeDee Lamb. I don't want to use those yet because CeeDee Lamb was just different at Oklahoma. One of the best wide receivers to come through Oklahoma, so it's not fair to compare a kid to him. But the ceiling for Emmanuel Choice is extremely high. And you have safety Amarian Robinson, a defensive end, a super athletic, and CJ Nixon. And the quarterback of the class, and Jet New, who flips from Oklahoma State. I'm not really too familiar with his game yet. I haven't got to watch much film, but sounds like out of a great program in Lehigh in Utah, a 3-star guy. So it'll be interesting to see what Ben Arbuckle can do with him. That's his first guy he's got at Oklahoma. See if maybe this is what we can really see what Arbuckle can do when it comes to developing QBs.
And you mentioned the first guy Arbuckle gets. Also mention of Arbuckle, Trinae Washington, talked about Arbuckle a little bit in a quote today about, the tight. I'm curious how he's going to perform, in that position at tight end. Obviously, it's a position that OU is needing some people to step up. I do think in my opinion, guys who I think are going to maybe be better. And I get he was a 4-star guy. I'm really high on Trent Wilson. They had the power line last year. You get him in this class. It's a good combo of those guys from last year. And same with that O-line. Last year's O-line with this O-line. So those two groups together, solid. And now where OU's going to have to win because, frankly, 16th in the country, not where OU needs to be. I think we would all sit here and admit that. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm satisfied at 16 in the country, 8 or 9 in the SEC, not satisfied. But where you can change things that you couldn't 5-10 years ago is you've got to win in the portal, specifically at wide receiver, specifically at quarterback. Those two position groups, I think you've got to win now in the portal.
And O-line.
Offensive line.
Here's the thing. Last year's class was known as the power line, and that's what everyone remembers about it. And I think it's great that you backed up last year's class with the other side of the line, and the O-line being the dominant part of this class. Now, that's how you win in the SEC is in the trenches. But you got to do enough to bridge that gap because these guys coming in are freshmen. The ones that didn't play much last year, Eddie Pierre-Louis, Eugene Brooks, you can go down the list. Really good, talented players haven't played much. So I think you're going to have to get and you're going to have to hit on a couple of really good portal players at the O-line. You mentioned wide receiver, Germ. You're definitely going to have to get some there, playmakers. But I think it all starts up front and it all starts at quarterback. Those two positions, I think you have to win. Like, I think Arbuckle, the way he schemes things, they're going to put some points up, but you got to have a quarterback that can run it and run that offense, and you got to have an offensive line that can block. So I'm excited to see what they do in the portal. We'll see. Nothing over the first few years in the portal really shows me that they're going to just dominate the portal. I have to see it to believe it because they haven't been one of the best teams in the portal. And as far as even I would say evaluations, they haven't really – I mean, you can name some guys from last year's squad that were portal that just didn't haven't panned out as well as you thought. So, but this class in general, the O-line's a standout of it. I think the quarterback they went and got late. They wanted to get a quarterback. This guy had a relationship with Arbuckle. Arbuckle knew him. Arbuckle's pretty good at evaluating talent as far as mechanics and stuff. He probably thinks he can develop him really well. I don't have a problem with that because you lost Sperry. You were kind of in the wee hours and you wanted to get a quarterback. I think so. It's a guy that he's comfortable with. Let him make the call as an OC. I'm happy with that. So,
yeah, Jeremy, and another guy or a guy that you said earlier was Trene Washington. I think him playing tight end at Oklahoma, them not getting a guy like a Chase Lofton, which to me still makes no sense in this class. Oklahoma was the very first school to offer him. If they would have pursued him hard, he would have been committed to Oklahoma for the longest time. Sean Brame didn't get him either. He went to Tennessee. So you talk about Trene Washington really, I think, kind of being Jojon Finley's only option outside of Devon Mitchell that you can look at. That's maybe, in a sense, kind of coaching for his job when it comes to development because he's not recruited very well at tight end. He missed out on Bauer Sharp and Jake Roberts as transfers. They didn't perform very well.
Nate Roberts too.
Yep, Nate Roberts. He went to Ohio State. So Jojon Finley's got to do a good job when it comes to Trene Washington. Super athletic guy. Then you have the other two guys that are Carl Albert, Tristan Haynes, and Marcus James. Marcus James, I think you see the athleticism he has. Super raw, super athletic. I kind of like to make the comparison to Kip Lewis right now. He's a little bit light, super athletic, super quick, really, really raw, just kind of an athlete at linebacker right now. But if he can develop into a good player, I think you could see him being one of the great linebackers to come out of Oklahoma just due to the athleticism he has. And Tristan Haynes at corner, you have Marcus Wimberly also at safety, which, by the way, Sooner fans, if you have not heard his story, it's one to tune into from a small town in Arkansas, a kid that's worked his way up from really just showing what the work looks like whenever you can come to a school like Oklahoma, showing that if you put in the hours of time by yourself, it'll pay off by itself. And Jason, you talked about it, the offensive line class was so important for Bill Bedenbaugh. He got the class he needed. And now it's just you got to develop these guys. You got them now. They're highly recruited guys. Ryan Foje, Michael Fasusi, Owen Hollenbeck, Darius Afalava, and Sean Hutton. If you develop those guys, all 5 of those guys have a chance to potentially play one day at Oklahoma, but you have to develop them. And Bill Bedenbaugh needs to show he can consistently develop all the guys he recruits, because that's something he maybe hasn't done. He's developed certain guys, but not all the big-time guys he's got.
Yeah, and Sooners begin the work. They put the pen to the paper. Early signing day has come and gone, and the Sooners land several that they thought they were going to land. No major surprises.
The Cortez Mills flip.
Cortez Mills, people could say it's a surprise. People could say it's not. Again, there's going to be a lot to come, guys, in the next few days as the portal will be opening soon. Jackson Arnold, as you saw today, plans to enter the portal. Not surprising, I don't think, from a lot of Sooner fans, but it could be from others. And we'll see what happens with portal entries and portal gets and things like that. This will be the place to tune in.
Yeah, and I was going to say, make sure tonight, as every night, 9:30, there's going to be a ton to talk about on our live show. If you're not tuned into the live show, every night at 9:30, we'll be on here to talk portal, recruiting, and the best part is you can chat with us, you can call in, and so give us your thoughts. But it'll be a fun night. There's a lot going on over the next 8 days. Even though the portal's not open until the 9th, it's the next week or so is going to be wild. So join us tonight at 9:30.
Thanks for joining us. Hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, like and comment on the video. We'll see you next time, Sooner fans.